Turn in your student book to page 196. All right, we're going to work on some revising and proofreading and making your final copy of your story. So let's look at the top of page 196. A good story usually has some short sentences and some long ones. Remember, we practiced that. The different lengths of sentences makes it more interesting for your reader and holds their attention. Duvall drafted a story about two friends, and later he made a long sentence by joining two short sentences with the word and. So here's his draft. This is how he wrote it. Bert picked a bunch of apples. He packed them up. But he noticed that he could make those two short sentences into a nice long one by adding a comma and the word and. So now it reads, Bert picked a bunch of apples, comma, and packed them up. He did a good job figuring out how to make those two short sentences into a longer one. Way to go, Duvall. Let's look at his final copy. Okay, we're going to look for short and long sentences, and then we're going to use the checklist on the bottom of 196 to revise our own drafts today. Best friends. Bert and Ale lived in a beehive. They were best friends. They both flew fast. They both liked apples. Then Ale moved south where there were no apples. Ale called Bert. I'm so sad, he said. Soon they had an idea. Bert picked a bunch of apples and he packed them up. Then he got on a jet. When Bert got to Ale's house, Ale was so happy. The friends had juicy apples to celebrate. Duvall did a wonderful, wonderful job. You can see lots of short sentences, but you can see the big one, the long ones too. He also has dialogue in here where Ale calls Bert and says, I'm so sad. Here's the example from the page over here. It's the one we looked at. Okay, and then great closing. Okay, we met the characters right away. We see how they're feeling. Duvall did a wonderful job with his story. Okay, so let's look at this revising checklist before I send you on your way to finish your, if you haven't finished your draft, to do that. To also revise and proofread, and then to make a nice final copy in your composition notebook. So here's some things to check while you do your proofreading and revising. Did you write some short and long sentences? Does your story have a beginning, middle, and an end? Did you write the exact words that a character says? Did you use dialogue? And did I use time order words? Okay, if we look over here, we have soon they had, and when is a time order word, then is a time order word. Okay, so you got to use time order words so that the order makes sense to your reader. All right, so those are some things you can look for and check as you revise and proofread and make your final copy today. Make sure you make your final copy on a nice lined piece of paper. Make it look nice. In your composition notebook would be a great place to put it, or wherever you are keeping your writing from each lesson. So have fun. You've already done all the work. This is when you get to see all that work come together and you have a wonderful paragraph or story to share with someone that you live with. Or you can bring it to school and I'd love to read it too. So have fun. We'll see you next week.